Hello everyone, it's amazing. I'm going live after many years, but I'm committing to going live at least once a week to share my knowledge and experience as a mother, as an educator, as an education entrepreneur on questions I get asked so often by so many parents, and I'd love to share and pass on that so that it helps so many others in the same process and journey. So today let's talk about a very common situation and scenario I see every parent dealing with, and that is my child does not show interest to do this subject, or they don't want to, they don't like writing, they're refusing to do spellings, or he hates math. Now let's understand these. These are all negative perceptions or associations created for the child based on a past experience of their own, or some words and actions by us or the people around them, the conversations they have heard, or simply sometimes the hurry we create, constant correction or finding faults while they're doing something that causes a child to have a negative experience and association with that task, with that subject. But here's the thing, perceptions can be changed. The brain naturally looks for ways to and do things where they find interest and motivation. So it's very important to realize that if you want your child to be really taking on something, is to first develop their interest, their motivation, and that happens by changing their perception. And the good news is positive perceptions can be created and maintained. Now, how do we do that? Today I'm going to be sharing 4 ways to create positive associations for certain tasks and activities. The first one is gamifying learning. Play is the highest form of learning, and if we can integrate play and learning, children will enjoy learning as a matter of play. So for example, the child does not like to write spellings, you could simply take a set of word puzzle and say, okay, let's not write the spellings, form the spelling of stop, and the child could take STOP. Now this innovation in material and the format novelty will make the child want spellings. Or you could simply take a big chart paper and give them a fancy sketch pen or a paintbrush and write it on the wall, and like put the chart paper on the wall and say, okay, now you write the spelling. So now when you gamify that learning, make it interesting, children want to do it. Second, and a very important thing, that is following the child's interest in that subject or towards that subject. Also integrating their interest. So if a child is someone who is very sporty, can we say, okay, you're going to give me a table answer every time you hit a ball, right, of cricket, or you make them run and match. So you're integrating the interest of sports, of movement, their needs into that learning. And when the child's interests are intervened with learning, children naturally want to do that more. Third, and a very important thing, is making their progress visible to them, which means the brain is intrinsically motivated when we see our own progress, when it goes through the model of compare contrast of before and now. Typically the same motivation we get when we see our own fitness transformation journeys, whether it's on the weighing scale, the waistline, or before after pictures. When the child can visibly see their own progress, the child is more motivated to do more of that. So for example, how can you do that? You could simply create a chart of a checklist. So if you say, oh wow, we've been reading a page every day for the last 3 days, and the child can see 3 tick marks on the chart. Or you making count of, okay, today we did 2 sums, today you did 10 sums in 20 minutes. Or you could read 2 pages, now you're reading 10 pages, whatever it is. When the child can measure and see their own progress happening visibly or through gaming apps, whichever format you choose, when the child can see their progress very visibly, the child will want to do more of that to feel a sense of accomplishment in being able to grow and progress. And the fourth is positive encouragement. And here it's important that we encourage and appreciate the process the child is going through rather than being focused on just the outcome, the result of that. So it's interesting to say, oh, that's a good book you've chosen to read. Or appreciating, saying, I love how you're trying to solve that answer, right? Or you're attempting to break that long spelling. Now, these words of encouragement on the focus on the process of learning and doing something rather than the end result motivates a child to do more. And last, a quick bonus tip, the fifth one is to model something we want the child to develop interest. So if you want your child to be doing more physical activities, do it in front of them, do it with them. If you want your child to solve more puzzles, go ahead and pick up a puzzle and say, oh wow, that's so interesting, I'm going to try doing this puzzle. And see how your child wants to join you in while doing that puzzle. So that's the fifth bonus one, that if we can model and show interest in the things we want to develop in our child, it's the best way to do so. But it's important to realize that perceptions can be changed, and if we can only intentionally observe why a child may have had a negative perception association with a certain activity, task, subject, and then intentionally work towards changing it, the child will have positive associations with that, would want to do more of that, and will then be a lifelong committed learner and lover of that task. So follow that, and I'll be more than happy to hear how this resonated with you and how you may want to go ahead and try it with your child. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next live.